Okay, we are now cruising along in the Tesla, and you can see the Gauss meter is almost on zero. And what we've noticed as we played with it a little bit here is when you're cruising at a constant speed, there's basically almost no electric fields. But, go ahead, when you accelerate, there's a bunch. Now, the thing about electric fields, a short burst like that isn't going to have any effect on you at all. It's the long-term exposure for multiple hours that has an effect on you. If you're living under power lines or something like that, that type of long-term exposure is what affects you. A short burst when you accelerate is nothing really. It shouldn't have any effect whatsoever on you. I just wanted to do a quick follow-up to our Gauss meter level testing on the Tesla Model S. And basically we were roughly a little less than 1 milligauss, which is very small. I got about 1 milligauss sitting on my couch here in my house. So basically it's lower than sitting on my couch in my house. So that's a pretty safe level. As far as I'm concerned, there is no consensus on where safe starts and stops. Pretty much everybody seems to think that 1 milligauss is safe, so less than 1 milligauss obviously is safe. But that's the consensus we have, what little consensus there is. I did check my Gauss meter by going around my house and checking other things. Going over to my surround sound receiver, shot it up to about 7 or 8 milligauss, so it is measuring properly, what I can tell. What I would really like to see is somebody that really is an expert either take this and run with it, go do a proper test. We were not trying to show that we were given, a proper test that gives you an exact answer. We're just trying to get an idea, basically. And I would love to see somebody either take it and run with it, or if you are interested in doing a much better test with better equipment, write me at mygreenearthllc@gmail.com, and maybe we can get Liz, John, or Lydia to come back and do a much more detailed test. I am curious, but I am also pretty convinced that the levels are pretty low and they only shoot up as you accelerate, and obviously you're not accelerating all the time as much as we would all like to. So check out the rest of the video and we'll talk to you again soon. Okay, we're back. We'll finish up our video here, but we wanted to talk a little bit about the fires, the 2 fires that they've had in Teslas.
3.
And is it 3 now?
It is now 3 fires. There's
Okay.
one in Mexico.
Yep.
All right, who wants to start?
I guess I can start. So, what do you want to know about them? What we know about them? So we know that 2 of them were caused by debris on the road that were struck by the driver.
Okay.
One was some sort of U-shaped piece of metal that came off of a semi. The other one was a trailer hitch that came off of something. Both of those resulted in fires, but the driver had time to get out of the car. The other one, easily, when the car actually told them to pull over. Said if something wrong, pull over. They had time to pull over in a safe spot and get out before there was any danger to them in the cabin. And when the cars actually burned, they burned away from the cabin. So the fire was actually directed away from the cabin. So even if by chance somebody had been in the cabin, they still wouldn't have, caught fire. The third one, chronologically the second one, was in Mexico. What we know about that was apparently, what we've heard is that the driver had been drinking and lost control of the vehicle at high speeds, ran into, I think it was 2 concrete walls?
Through a concrete wall.
Through a concrete wall.
Into a tree.
And then into a tree.
Yeah, I heard he was going about 80.
Yeah. And it looked like he probably got it airborne, which is pretty good considering it weighs 4,700 pounds.
Yeah.
And again, it looks like it probably did some damage to the bottom. And that also resulted in fire. But once again, he had enough time to get out of the car and run away, I believe.
Yeah.
He actually ran away.
Yeah.
And so obviously he was fine. In all 3 incidents, everybody was fine.
Unharmed.
They were unharmed. And that's something that we've seen a lot with accidents that we've heard about on the Tesla forums. you'll hear about these accidents, especially when it's two cars, a Tesla and something else. The occupants in the other car are often, injured in some manner. In unfortunate cases, we've had a couple of deaths. But the drivers of the Tesla and the occupants of the Tesla walked away with minor injuries, if any injuries at all.
Yeah, it is the #1 safest tested car in history.
It definitely is. It's almost like driving a tank.
Yeah, that was one of the things I was wondering about when they just first started talking about these, where they were developing them, is how safe would they really be, because there wasn't any testing at all at that point. Now they've done all the testing, that's #1.
In our understanding, what we've heard is that Elon actually had them go out and do testing above and beyond what they normally be done, and they looked for weak points, and then they improved those weak points.
Okay. Now, John, I think there was something you wanted to talk about a little bit about that, right?
About the fires?
Yeah.
Well, I was just saying that anytime you're carrying around a large amount of energy, stored energy, there's a potential danger. But in the case of an electric car, the motor is so much more efficient that you're actually carrying around far less energy in that battery pack. Even at full, it's around 3 gallons of gas worth of energy.
Yeah, the efficiency on a electric car in general, but Tesla roughly is 90%, whereas an internal combustion engine is 20 to 30%, and the rest is lost in heat. That's why you have to have that radiator. And the internal engine of a car actually reaches close to 2,000 degrees. So, a lot of loss of heat. Anything else you guys want to talk about that?
Well, it's I understand the novelty with Tesla, and in some cases the fear with them. But in perspective, I mean, there are hundreds of thousands of fires in cars every year, and hundreds of people die in those. And granted, it is unusual, although not statistically significant, that we've had 3 Tesla fires in the last 6 weeks. So I think trying to draw a conclusion about whether or not Teslas are more likely to burst into flames, as some people like to say, when they have a collision that affects the battery is I think at this point unwarranted. And if you were to go out and look at the forums, we've had other members, other Tesla owners, who have had impacts to their battery packs, who've actually even had punctures to their battery packs, and the cars have been fine. I mean, obviously the batteries have been damaged, but they haven't had any problems with fires. So I think, I understand all of this, but I think that the public needs to know that they need to take a step back and really say, when you look at an electric car and you look at a gas car, is there really a greater likelihood that you're going to have a fire in an electric car than you would in a gas car? And with all of the other benefits and all of the other safety features in this car, even if you are going to have a battery fire in a Tesla, you are still more safe in a Tesla than you would be if a gas car caught on fire.
And as far as whether Elon's message he put out after the first fire, the fire rate at that point, after one, was 200 times less than that of the fire rate of gas cars. So if you multiply that by 3, it's still way less than the fire rate in gas cars. So.
Right. And I think it's a testament that the 3 drivers who have unfortunately had fires with their cars all want new Teslas. They're not saying, I don't ever want to drive it. They're saying, how soon can I get my new Tesla because I want it back?
In fact, the most recent one in Tennessee actually said they believe the car saved their life. So we still don't know exactly what the debris was that they ran over, what it looked like, or how it happened, or what all the circumstances were, but from the first-hand perspective, they said right away they thought the car saved their life.
Well, the interesting thing too is there were punctures, and if you have a puncture there, it probably would have also punctured the gas tank.
Right. I mean, that's the big question: is what would have the equivalent damage been to a regular car, and what would have been the aftermath of that? Would they have been able to control the car as well as the freeway and walk away as were able to do?
And another thing that we talked about when we were taking our ride, one of the differences is it was a slow burning fire versus, I guess, it did pick up speed. Partly because they didn't quite really know how to put it out properly. But
For the first one, yeah.
That's something they'll learn. But the big point is a gasoline engine might have blown up.
Right.
And then nobody has time, and everybody dies.
And there's been speculation about there were explosions with some of the video that they've seen, but those were actually the tires popping from the heat and not the battery exploding or any other components really exploding.
Right. Okay. Anything else you guys would like to add today?
Well, I'd like to say that we love our Tesla so much, we're actually going to be buying another one.
Oh, really?
So the fires didn't scare us.
Another Model S, or are you going to wait for the Model X?
No, another either a Model S, or if the specs come out sooner with the Model E, and for that one it'll be a Model X. So one of those.
Very cool. How about you guys?
Well, no plans for any further vehicles.
They're a little
I'm a
expensive.
single guy, so I only need one.
Yeah.
But I am curious to see what the next generation looks like and how it improves on this one, and I may very well trade in for it. But one other thing I wanted to point out that, she mentioned people still wanting to drive one after their experiences. And on the forums, somebody did a poll and said, of people that own the cars, how many would still buy it knowing what you know now about the fires? And I think it was 98% said without question right away I would still buy it. And then a couple people said maybe, I'm not sure yet. And a couple
Right.
people said no.
Yeah, I would think that you have very few that say no flat out. And then it's fair for the other people to want to find out a little more. Okay, how about you?
At this point, we are eager, my husband and I, to find out more about the Model E, but his lonely Infiniti just sits in the garage all by itself and doesn't get driven. We're very satisfied with the S car. We don't really need another car.
Okay, I don't blame you. All right, I guess that's it for today. You want to learn more about Tesla, you want to learn more about anything green, or check out our books, How to Save Money and Save Energy and Gluten and Sugar-Free Cooking, check us out at www.sourceofgreenenergy.com. We'll talk to you soon.